What's up, you guys? Slasher Movies here, and man, I cannot believe 2018 is already coming to a close, and I have to start prepping all those 2019 videos. And honestly, guys, I love making this video, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 most anticipated horror movies of 2019. Look, you guys, making this list, you guys, was extremely difficult, but it got me super fired up because I didn't realize just how much horror content we have coming in 2019. We have been in a horror renaissance the past couple of years, and if this is any indication, 2019 is just not going to be slowing down for horror. So much that I'm, of course, going to have a few honorable mentions. These films didn't quite make the list, obviously, but I am still looking forward to watching them, and you should definitely have them on your radar. Those films are In the Tall Grass, The Turning, Antlers, Happy Death Day to You, and The Prodigy. Okay, you guys, on to the list. Starting my list off at number 10, I have You Should Have Left. Now, You Should Have Left is reconnecting Kevin Bacon with this Stir of Echoes writer and director. And in this film, it also stars Amanda Seyfried. And it basically is about the horrors of writer's block. This dad is taking his family off to some mountains or something like that to write the sequel to this big film that he's working on. And writer's block hits him, and it's like this horror movie, drama, mystery, thriller type of film. And honestly, let me tell you, as someone who has written a little bit, nothing good, writer's block is the worst thing ever. It is a literal horror show. So I'm really excited to see that premise explored. Coming in at number 9, I have Ma. Now, Ma is a new Blumhouse horror film from director Tate Taylor, who gave us a little film called The Help. It has Octavia Spencer in it, Luke Evans, Allison Janney, Juliette Lewis. Like, the cast of this thing is really, really great, and it's about a woman who invites a group of teenagers to throw this party inside her house, and of course, is a horror movie, sinister events follow. The cast of this thing is, and the director involved, is the reason why I have hype for this film. I like the premise. It sounds like it'd just be a very demented, sort of slasher film, maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. There's no real information much out there, but I have a feeling this could be a big hit for the year. Number 8 is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, this movie comes from producer Guillermo del Toro and the director of Troll Hunters and The Autopsy of Jane Doe. So, already I have to see this film because I was a big, massive fan of those two films, and Guillermo del Toro attached to produce. Yeah, sign me up. Also, I love the books so much as a kid. I used to read them so much. And while this movie isn't particularly adapting the book and those stories, it will be a fresh new story. I am very excited to see what this team does. I think it's about a group of kids who discover some sort of evil thing in their town, and, you know, horror ensues. I'm very, very excited for this thing. Number 7 is Brightburn. Now, Brightburn comes from producer James Gunn. He wrote this thing. He produced this thing. It's directed by the guy who made this horror film called The Hive. I never saw it, but I did see the trailer for this thing, and this thing looks fantastic. It's like taking the Superman origin story and flipping it on its head and making a horror movie based off that story. I mean, this kid comes crashing on this farm. Elizabeth Banks is the mother who lives on the farm. She takes the kid in, and then all of a sudden, is this kid gonna be for good or evil? It looks like evil because a lot of weird stuff starts happening. The trailer for this thing is freaking awesome. It looks like it's gonna be both fun and scary and tense, and I'm ready. Number 6 is The Grudge. Now, they are rebooting the Grudge film, and normally I wouldn't have any interest in a film like this, but the director attached to this is the director for films like The Eyes of My Mother and Piercing. 2 films I have absolutely freaking loved. And I've met this director, and while I was watching Piercing at Fantastic Fest, one of the questions that was brought up was about his Sony reboot of The Grudge. And his statements are what got me fired up. He basically was just like, hey, all those Grudge movies, they exist, but I'm doing something completely different. And that excites me. This dude is awesome. I mean, I love his direction skills. His films are always gorgeous to look at. And he says he's going to make something dark and different and intense. Honestly, that has me hyped a lot. Number 5 is Pet Sematary. Look, like most people, when you hear a horror remake of a beloved classic, you're like, why are you doing this? But Pet Sematary, I actually think has potential to be really good because the trailer for this thing was fantastic. I love the cast that's involved. I like the writer that's involved. This is one of Stephen King's most dark books that are out there. And the original, while it's really, really good, I think when it comes to its themes, they could be deeply more explored. So I'm hoping that's what I get out of this film, while also having some really messed up scares in this thing. Coming in at number 4, I have It Chapter 2. Honestly, it's very refreshing to see a horror movie get the big blockbuster treatment. And no one deserved it more than Stephen King's It. I mean, that book is massive. What's so great about that first It is not only was it big in budget, but it was big in rewards. And I'm really looking forward to reuniting with the Losers Club and seeing the adult version of them. But I really hope that this movie embraces the weird aspects of the original It and just goes for it. But I'm also curious to see if they change anything. I'm excited to see Jessica Chastain and Bill Hader working together. That's going to be awesome. I have a feeling this movie is going to be a big blockbuster juggernaut, given how many people not only went and saw it, but really enjoyed it. Number 3 is Us. Oh my god, I just recently saw the trailer for this bad boy, and it was literally had me shaking. It looks so good. So good. And honestly, this would be my number 1 most anticipated movie if those number 2 just didn't come from such high talent. But Jordan Peele is literally making himself a name in the horror genre, and this doesn't look like it's gonna slow him down. I am so impressed by the trailer for this day. The premise of it sounds awesome. Lupita Nyong'o looks like she is giving it her all in terms of performances. I mean, some of the imagery in this thing is insane. I mean, that beach stuff, I mean, everything. This looks freaking awesome, and I know Jordan Peele is going to incorporate some sort of subtext to what's going on and everything that's going to add more weight to the horror. And, oh man, this guy's on another level, and I'm so excited for this. Coming in at number 2 is The Lighthouse. Now, The Lighthouse comes from director Robert Eggers, who gave us one of the best directorial debuts I've ever seen with a little film called The Witch. And this movie has William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson in it. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe this might be in black and white as well. But regardless, this is another horror film, and I heard from Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson that the shooting of this movie was intense. Like, they barely talked to each other because they just knew that they had another scene. They just had to get the work done. You know, it was one of those jobs, you know, like, let me tell you, we've all had those jobs where we go in, we get it done, we get out, because, you know, and it's a hard day's work. And I heard that about this, and I'm very, very excited. Robert Eggers seems like a very attention to detail kind of director. So I'm very excited to see what his sophomore efforts look like, because The Witch was such a strong religious horror film that I'm excited to see what he explores in this. And of course, we've made it to the end, ladies and gentlemen. My most anticipated horror movie of 2019 is MIDSOMMAR. Now, MIDSOMMAR comes from director Ari Aster, who just crushed the game with not only the best horror movie of 2018, but the best movie in general in 2018, Hereditary. Now, MIDSOMMAR is actually a folk term, and I heard that this movie is going to be more of a folk horror, so think more of the lines of the Wicker Man style of movie, but dealing with toxic relationships, I believe. I believe he's going to be exploring that element, because I believe that this film is about 2 people. I think they've broken up, and they're on the road together, trying to get somewhere, maybe rekindle relationships, something, and things spiral out of control. Horror ensues. I'm honestly just super excited to see this because Hereditary is one of the most messed up horror films I've ever seen. It really traumatized me a lot. I honestly saw bits of my own life mirrored in that. So I'm just really excited to see what Ari Aster does next. This guy is a brilliant talent. And I'm terrified to watch this film, but I'm so excited at the same time, which is why it's my most anticipated horror film of 2019. So you guys, there you have it. That is my top 10 most anticipated horror movies of 2019. Make sure to let me know in the comment section below what movies you're particularly looking forward to in 2019. And until next time, I'm the Slash Movier, and you guys have just been slashed.